Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. Very welcome to attend CCG's 16th VIP Luncheon on new energy and global green transition. Let's welcome co-founder and Secretary General of CCG, Dr. Mabel Miao, to introduce the guests.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to the 16th CCG VIP Luncheon. Thank you very much for taking the time to join us today. The CCG VIP Luncheon series, initiated and hosted by Center for China and Globalization, has become an important platform for dialogue and exchange. It brings together diplomats, international organizations, leading enterprises, and academic experts to share insights on China's development and foster mutual understanding and cooperation in an increasingly interconnected world. Today's luncheon is particularly timely as it focuses on trends in clean energy and the green transition. In the context of rising global awareness about climate change and environment sustainability, the transition to clean energy has become a defining challenge and opportunity of our era. Governments, business, and societies worldwide are increasingly recognizing that addressing carbon emission and resource depletion is not only essential for the planet's health, but also critical for long-term economic resilience and social well-being. We are honored to have with us three distinguished speakers later who will share their expertise and perspectives. Please allow me to introduce them. Mr. ZHAO Yongqiang, Director of Renewable Energy Center, Energy Research Institute, NDRC. Welcome you. Dr. Jian, Vice Dean, Institute of Climate Change and Sustainable Development, ICCSD, Tsinghua University, Deputy Secretary General of Global Alliance of Universities on Climate. Welcome. Dr. Ma Jun, Director, Institute of Public and Environmental Affairs, IPE. Welcome. Before we proceed, I would like to extend a special welcome to our distinguished guests. We are privileged to have diplomatic representatives from 16 countries today, including 5 ambassadors with us. Especially, we have invited Ambassador of Germany, Ambassador of Greece, Ambassador of Japan, Ambassador of New Zealand, and Ambassador of Turkey to join us. Additionally, diplomatic representatives from the Embassy of Barbados, Embassy of Canada, Embassy of Croatia, Embassy of Finland, Embassy of Hungary, Embassy of Iceland, Embassy of Malta, Embassy of Norway, Embassy of Romania, Embassy of UAE, Embassy of the United States. All of them are participating us in today's event. In addition, representatives from international organizations, IMF, OECD, SZAO, UNDP, and UNFPA are also participating in our event. Welcome all of you. Furthermore, welcome. Furthermore, today's luncheon features participation from leading companies including BOSF China, Grupo Bimbo China, Li Auto, CICC, Puqing Investment, and New Link. Welcome all of you. Last but not least, the presence of media representatives from outlets including Asahi Shimbun, CGTN, China Daily, Der Spiegel, Die Welt, the Hindu Group, Nippon Television, and the Press Trust of India will ensure broad coverage and the dissemination of today's important discussion. Thank you all once again for your support and engagement. We look forward to a fruitful and inspiring luncheon. Now, without further ado, let us begin with our speeches from our hosts and the distinguished speakers. First of all, I would like to invite Dr. Henry Wang, who is the founder and the president of the Center for China and Globalization, also the former counselor of the China State Council, to deliver the welcome address. Welcome, Dr. Wang. Thank you.
Your Excellencies, very distinguished guests, representative of international organizations, of course also company, multinational representative, and also of many media representatives. So it's really a great honor, and also welcome our three top experts to come to the 16th CCG VIP Luncheon. So CCG VIP Luncheon actually started last year. So last year we had about 12, about 10, 12 last year, and then we are having another 6 of this year. So it's really a very important platform to present the latest development, the information exchanges, but of course the discussions and debate on China major issues and policies, and also of course development of collaboration with different countries. So this is really a very unique platform that CCG is really dedicated to build. And we are very pleased to report that since its launching last year, we already had 16 times of them. And this time we are moving to a better venue. So that's also a good thing to introduce you. And of course, we are very open discussion, and we also brought them later on. We put them on the video, and we publish news, and our media will cover that. So this is really an open platform. That's the thing that I think CCG is really promoting, this dialogue, open dialogue, and also exchanges, discussions. So this is really important. Of course, the issue today, the new energy and global green transition is really a very hot topic. We all know that we have been really faced these unprecedented climate changes that are happening everywhere. We had probably another historical record heat summer. And we have seen the fires in Spain. We have seen the floods in Beijing. 60 people died, actually, this summer. And that unheard of many years ago, that Beijing can suffer a big flood. 60 people died. And then we see what happened in Pakistan, in many other countries. So it's really, it's real. So I think how to do that, we want to maintain this Paris climate change agreement, and we want to really see how we can build this international joint efforts. Of course, China has explored and also collaborate with many international companies and governments and different programs, and also have gained a lot of success. And so one of the things I think China did well was this on the EV. I remember 15 years ago, the Beijing mayor told me that there was a heavy smoke in Beijing. And then they did a study on that, traced the sources of heavy smoke of Beijing. And they found 60% of Beijing smoke coming from the emission of those combustion engine cars and all those things. So they have decided it's for the own sake of Beijing, and for China too. I still remember the PM 2.5 announced at the U.S. Embassy every day on the roof of the monitor at that time. But it's great. So we had this great transformation, and now over half of vehicles in Beijing is green vehicles, is EV vehicles. So that shows how we can really work together. I know European countries and North American, of course, many other countries, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, all very much favor green development. So we'd love to hear from our experts, but also we have international UN, IMF, all those great international organizations have been promoting those efforts as well. So we have a big company like BASF, is very, very active as well. And so it's really a great honor to welcome all of you. So I stop there. Please enjoy your food while we're having this luncheon. And so we'll really hope that you'll continue to participate, and we'll really hopefully build a very unique platform in the heart of Beijing that really facilitate the great exchanges between China and outside world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Henry's welcome remarks. Actually, we have two parts later. One part is relating to the three distinguished speakers. They will deliver their speeches. Then we move to Q&A part. Usually, I think Q&A part is the most popular part in our luncheon. Welcome all of you to join us. First of all, I would like to invite Professor Zhao Yongqiang, Director, Center for New Energy and Renewable Energy Research Institute, NDRC. I would like to introduce a little about Professor Zhao. Professor Zhao holds a master's degree in public management from Tsinghua University and a bachelor's degree in thermal energy and power engineering from Xi'an Jiao University. Since joining the Energy Research Institute in 2004, he has focused on renewable energy and energy transition strategies, including carbon peak and neutrality policies, energy planning, technology roadmaps, and international cooperation. He has led consultants projects for key Chinese government bodies such as NDRC and the National Energy Administration, and participated in major international collaborations, including the U.S.-China Renewable Energy Partnership and the G20 Energy Sustainability Work Group. Welcome you. Stage is yours.
Thank you very much. And Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to speak at CCG VIP Luncheon and have opportunity to exchange ideas with other ministers, diplomatic, enterprise, and media representatives from so many countries. It's my honor. And we know international cooperation is important for clean energy, for climate change. In fact, myself and my colleagues at Energy Research Institute have visited many countries from Germany, Japan, US, Norway, Finland, and we benefit from international cooperation. We think we agree that clean energy and green energy transition is essential to human survival and development. And we would like to share three ideas. First, China is advancing its own energy transition and contribute to global energy transition. China becomes the largest energy producer and consumer in 2010. Before that, China already started to develop renewable energy. And now China accounting for 1/3 of global power generation. I think the generation sector is most important and to the energy transition. And the energy demand, especially electricity demand, is continue to grow, not only in China, but also the world. China continue to face resource and environmental constraints. In the long run, energy transition is fundamental solutions to the challenges. China energy transition aims to build a clean, low-carbon, safe, and efficient energy systems. This will create synergies for cutting carbon emissions, reducing pollution, expanding green development, and stimulating economic growth, with the ultimate goal of building harmony between humanity and nature. China's President Xi Jinping stressed we need to seize opportunity and build a sound momentum to promote high-quality development of China's energy systems, with greater efforts to provide secure and reliable energy support for China's modernization. We can significantly contribute to building a clean and beautiful world. We think China's energy transition has three pillars: high-share renewable energy development, electrification with sector coupling, and strong smart grid network infrastructure. China has taken vigorous measures to develop renewable energies, including hydro, wind, solar, biomass, geothermal energy, and aims to create an energy supply systems dominated by non-fossil fuel energy. In addition, large new energy space in West China, China also developed distributed energy systems, especially solar, in the eastern and central China. China also is the largest offshore wind developed countries in the world. By June this year, the total installed capacity of power generation reached 3,650 gigawatts, of which renewable energy generation capacity accounts for 60%. Wind and solar, we call it variable renewable generation, accounting for 45%. I think it is a great achievement, but also a great challenge for the future to integrate so many wind and solar. We'll talk about that later. In fact, all the renewable energy generation accounting for 40% of generation, and wind and solar generation accounting for 43%. In some regions, in the Mongolia, in the Qinghai, the share is much higher, nearly is 90% in some region. China is advancing electrification in industry, building, transport sectors, and the low carbon transition of final consumptions. In the industry sectors, there has been a shift from traditional fuels to electricity for process and heating, drying, steam supplies. In beauty sectors, there has been widespread adoption of solar water heater, electric cooking, and heating based on heat pump. In the transport sector, there has been a strong push for new energy vehicles. By the end of June of this year, China have over 37 million new vehicles, including 25 million electric vehicles. China has accelerated the construction of a cross-country energy network. It built 3 west to east power transmission corridors across the province and regions in the north, central, and south China, with a capacity of about 300 gigawatt, and completed 20 ultra high voltage direct current transmission channels. You know, China is very big, and most wind and solar hydro is in West China. We have to build nearly 2,000 transmission lines to support Eastern China. The country is also working on hydrogen transportation by pipelines and building integrated energy service stations, including supplying oil, gas, electricity, and hydrogen. China has accelerated application of digitalization and intelligent technologies to upgrade the energy infrastructures. Smart microgrid have been built in industry, transport, construction, and other sectors, allowing consumers to use local new energies. China further opening up will create new opportunities for deeper international corporations. In fact, I think a lot of international companies come to China, develop the business. We have been to Vestas in Denmark, GE US, and Siemens in Germany, and Gamesa in Spain. I think we all benefit from international cooperation. Now, I think we need more advanced technologies, products, and deeper cooperation, including the smart energy systems. This is my first point. Secondly, energy transition is going to a new era of reshaping energy system. China and many countries share a similar vision and challenges. According to China Energy Transition Outlook, released by Energy Research Institute, NDRC, in order to reach carbon neutrality by 2060, China's total installed power generation capacity needs to reach 11,000 11,000 gigawatt, about 4 times of the 2003. The renewable share generation shall reach more than 90%. We believe China and many countries have 3 common visions and challenges to reach the carbon neutrality: technological innovation and a low-cost, stable supply chain, reliable and resilient electric power system and energy systems, integrating high-share variable renewable generation, such as wind and solar, energy governance and market rules that are suitable for a new energy system dominated by renewable energy. I think we all want to have this vision, but it's also a challenge. Thirdly, the pace of energy transition depends on international cooperation. Maintaining energy security and promote clean, low-carbon transition are common challenges by the world. China is working with other countries to promote sustainable global energy development and build a global energy governance systems based on equity, justice, balance, and inclusiveness. It is committed to improving bilateral and multilateral cooperation mechanism in the energy sectors, strengthening the exchange and policy ideas and best practice in energy transition, and advancing cooperation and capacity buildings on green and low carbon technologies. Thus, we will be able to achieve the goal of Paris Agreement, the carbon neutrality, and ensure access to affordable, reliable, sustainable, and modern energy for all. I think the clean energy future is up to all of us, all the country. And in fact, China has set up forums to strengthen international exchange. This June, the Taiyuan Energy Low Carbon Development Forum will be held in Shanxi Province, Taiyuan. Energy Research Institute will host some session. So we also prepared invitation letters for our international friends. I think we welcome you at the Taiyuan. And in the October, China will cooperate with ARENA, International Renewable Energy Agency, to have the Suzhou International Energy Transition Forum. I think they are all very good platform exchange platform for you, for China, for enterprises, to find new solutions. I think in the future, collaboration is really essential to our energy transition. Thank you all.
Thank you, Professor Zhao from NDRC. Thank you for your very comprehensive and very comprehensive and inspiring introduction about the policies about on China, especially on the low carbon and the clean energy transition. Next, we would like to invite Dr. Zhang Jian, the Vice Dean Institute of Climate Change and Sustainable Development, Tsinghua University. I also would like to introduce a little about Dr. Zhang. Dr. Zhang is also Deputy Secretary General of the Global Alliance of Universities on Climate. His research covers global climate governance, climate adaptation, sustainable development, and climate innovation. He leads several significant projects, including China's healthcare decarbonization pathway and the Tsinghua Global Adaptation Joint Action Initiative. Dr. Zhang has authored key climate reports and serves on multiple academic and UN committees related to sustainability and climate action. Floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. And also want to thank CCG for the invitation. It's really a privilege to speak in front of so many excellencies and friends from multi-stakeholders as we all work together to tackle this big challenge. So my topic today might seem a little bit marginal to new energy, but I think artificial intelligence and the nexus will move into the center of this green transition. And it might come in a very friendly way if we manage well but it could also be very disruptive and in a powerful disruptive way. So I think it's very relevant to look at the relationship between artificial intelligence and climate and sustainable development. So this is, I think I will use the next 15 minutes to brief all of you about this joint research that we have been working with the UNDP on the relationship of AI and climate. So I think it will not only bring solutions, but also new challenges that will require a lot of attention from us. And this report focuses on the Asia-Pacific region at this moment. We hope to expand our work into Eurasian and African countries, but this part of the research is on Asia and Pacific. So a couple of reasons for this. First, this region is home to half of the world's population, and also contributes to nearly half of the global CO2 emissions, and it's home also to some of the very rapidly growing economies. And if we don't pay enough attention to the emissions here, so under this high emission scenario, all of these rapidly developing economies could see a GDP loss of up to 17% by 2070. So in terms of, so this is all about reducing emissions, but also in terms of adaptation, if we can look at the Global Adaptation Initiative, the map over there is Asia Pacific is also home to most of the vulnerable countries, which are already hit the hardest by this crisis. And we see the green parts, New Zealand, very resilient to comparatively, but we also have a very low preparedness and low and high vulnerability from some of the Asian countries. So, we are faced this urgency, but I don't think we have enough tools in terms of digital solutions to handle that, because when we both for the policymakers and for practitioners, we need granular climate data, enough data, and I also have these powerful dynamic models to analyze the data and put forward policy pathways and directions so that we can take proper and functional actions. So this is where AI can come in to support us, to help us. So and to fill the gap of all this capacities in a digital solution. So from an academic point of view, if we look at all this AI, how AI has already contributed to sustainable development, including climate. So we see this this figure here. This is from last year and part from this year. So over 300 imperial studies show AI has already been taken into function in mitigation for clean energy industry, but also into many important aspects of adaptation, like set up in the global goal on adaptation, including water resources, food and agriculture, and also health, healthcare, and also education part, which means the increase of our climate literacy during the process and the awareness for sustainable development. And also when we're talking about artificial intelligence, we're not talking about only one or two tools. It's a set of tools ranging from machine learning, language processing, also to generative AI. So it's 20 of them, very frequent use into across the whole topic. And so the potential, the good things about AI that can help us with climate change lies both on mitigation and also adaptation. So there are many ways that they can help, but the top three I've listed here is smart grid. Dr. Zhao mentioned we need very smart grid to to help the transmission with the renewables electricity, and also energy efficiency. So under this negotiated targets to tripling renewable and also doubling energy efficiency set by the COP meetings 2 years ago, we need to bring energy efficiency into the center. And also real-time emissions monitoring is very important both for carbon market and also for the trade and tax issues. And also adaptation also need artificial intelligence, because we need to build a better early warning system for extreme weather events, and also improve decision making in agriculture, in food production and food security. So here some of the AI's role in climate action, like energy, renewable energy integration into the power grid. So AI-driven smart grids minimize energy wastage, and with studies indicating up to 15% reduction in energy consumption in optimized systems with AI. And of course, carbon capture and also emissions monitoring with AI-enhanced monitoring system detected methane leakage up to 95% accuracy. We know that methane is the second important greenhouse gas. We need to consider that as well. And this is a summary of all these techniques and applications and also benefits. I'll leave this PowerPoint here, so I don't have to get into all these details here. But we can see if we deploy all these technologies, of course, differentiated technologies to different domains will have multiple and also the big benefits out of the applications. And also, as I mentioned, in smart grid, AI can make contributions and bring positive impacts in both reducing the greenhouse gas emissions and also enhance grid power grid reliability, which is also a very big challenge for us as we develop renewables and capacity. And also in building efficiency, to adjust resource allocation and to optimize environmental control system with all these buildings. So here are some examples. I will just, for example, the smart grid system in Singapore actually increased the renewable energy into the national energy supply from 4% to over 8%, using AI to make the grid smarter, so that they take in more electricity is generated by renewables. And also in Hong Kong, they have AI-driven smart building system that reduce 15% of energy consumption in terms of heating, lighting, and also air conditioning. So that also inspired a number of projects in the region. For example, in Tokyo and Shanghai, we see very good outcomes when we use AI to help with energy efficiency. And also for increasing climate resilience, we also have very good practice here. For example, in India, the AI for food forecasting management system by the meteorological department, and very good yields in food production and water consumption savings. So and also the disaster warning system in the Philippines. We've been able to collect data and also summarize the practice in Vietnam with this AI-driven agriculture, sustainable food production, So it's very also a very good example. But as we enjoy all of this positive benefits, we also face risk, right? So in terms of three aspects, one is energy consumption. We know that data centers consume 10 to 50 times more energy per square foot than ordinary commercial spaces. And in the Asia Pacific region, data center energy use reached over 100 terawatt hour, led by China, Japan, and Australia. So it's continue to grow, and also around over 5 billion liters per year water consumption, and this could double by 2030. So it's and also with all this development of artificial intelligence, we have this mining issue to mine rare earth elements that will it's very hard to avoid causing environmental damage, and also the production and also disposal of AI hardware devices, and also the tailings will also create very big problems. And also, for example, in this region, data centers consume an estimate of 55 terawatt hour in 2023, but that's already 27% of the global total, and is projected to represent roughly 8% of regional electricity demand by 2028. So the driving with these hyperscale facilities are mainly from China, India, Japan, and South Korea. So that's also the case of the US. If we look at the data at 2018, it's only 1.9 of the total electricity use, but 10 years time in 2028 it will be rising up to 12%. So it's 10 times almost in 10 years. And water consumption, as I mentioned just now, it will raise to equivalent 6 times as much the annual water usage of a mid-sized country, and the mineral consumption as well. So by 2030, all these AI centers could represent 2 to 3% of global demand for key minerals. This graph shows some of the change in 7 years' time, 6 years' time. And also it will create, inequality problem, both, within a country and between countries. So it will further divide, the gender gap, because without access to mobile or internet, it will worsen the gap, people's ability to receive information, and also the ability to respond to climate-induced disasters, and also the gap between rural and urban areas as well. So without deliberate efforts to bridge these gaps, emerging climate tech could deepen existing social divides. This is a very serious socio-economic problem that we need to look at. And so I think what we can do now is to start as early as possible to embed sustainability into AI infrastructure. So there are a few things that we can do for energy. So I think we should, put up a mandate renewable energy consumption for new data centers. For example, through different like tax credits and also regulations and water as well. So we probably incentivize efficient cooling. For example, direct to chip immersion cooling to save to slash the usage of water, and also, for example, as OECD, the due diligence standards will, give penalties up to 5% of revenue for violations of mining. for data centers, and also the extended producer responsibility laws for AI hardware, and also require manufacturers to fund recycling. So these are all very good practice. And also in China, we have launched this green data center evaluation standard this year. Late last year, they will promote low carbon and high efficiency AI systems. So already over 200 national green data centers have been established across major sectors. So with that, I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Zhang from Tsinghua University. Really, I was wondering, actually the climate crisis and the AI, we should mediate it and handle it, how to combine those two topics, hot topics together, and appreciate your speech. You know, I was keenly aware of the weather forecasting is more accurate than before. I think it's also leverage the AI to forecast the weather to reduce the carbon emission. Thank you very much. We learned a lot from that. Next but not least, I would like to invite Mr. Ma Jun, who is the founding director, Institute of Public and Environmental Affairs. I also would like to introduce a little about Mr. Ma. He is a prominent environmental activist and the founder of China's first environmental public database and the Blue Map app, which provides public access to environmental data and tracks corporate environmental performance. His initiatives have driven transparency and accountability for over 34,000 companies and influenced green finance practices among major banks. Mr. Ma has been recognized with numerous prestigious awards, including Time Magazine's 100 Most Influential People, the Golden Man Environmental Prize, and the School Award for Social Entrepreneurship. Welcome you, Mr. Ma. The floor is yours.
Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honor to be invited to the CCG VIP Luncheon. I think you have heard from the real authority, Director ZHAO, talking about the renewable energy, and you have the leading academia talking about the AI and its impact. And I would like to, as a founder of an NGO, we have done our own research into the energy transition. I hope our presentation can help to visualize that a bit of this massive transition. Of course, the backdrop of all of this is a pressing climate challenge, as ex-Dr. Wang, the opening remarks talking about, all this extreme weather events happen so much more frequently, and we have enormous gap to close every time we conduct this stock take. It's like that. Of course, we mentioned about the improved air quality in China. That's what we have been trying to do over the past 20 years, and some progress have been made, but we have some key experiences and lessons to learn from that. One of that is it's all based on massive monitoring and transparency, which can facilitate a multi-stakeholder collaboration. So on the climate mitigation adaptation side, we also hope to achieve that. So we developed the Blue Map of Zero Carbon to try to compile regional, provincial, and city level carbon disclosure, and also based on that conduct our research into our index research into the carbon peak and neutrality performances of all these cities and provinces, and with the Chinese Academy of Environmental Science and also with the Climate Center under the MEE. And through the research, we can see some very positive trend happening. Since last March, China's carbon emission finally, declined, and we can see the reason. The reason is this yellow bar. The vast increase of China's solar capacity. The black bar is the coal. So, over the past several years, we have been working on the solar map, try to locate all this on the digital map, help the stakeholders visualize that. So we're about to launch our new report called 1,000 gigawatt of solar with our partner, Green Jiangnan. And on the map, we're trying to track the growth, massive growth of solar power capacity in China. You can see that, last year, China achieved the 2030 target set for renewable energy, 1,200 giga. And this year, as mentioned, 1,000 gigawatts on solar alone. And this is the power generation based on from the solar power. Contrary to some conventional wisdom, and in some of the coastal regions, we can see a lot of solar power actually, power generation. That's because in the coastal regions, we're actually to see the blue bar is for distributed rooftop solar panel. And in the middle part, we can see it's balanced, but in the west, far west, of course, a lot of centralized, massive solar power capacity. And so that's what's going on. It's not just in one part of China. It's across the country. In the West, large-scale deployment of centralized PV. And through all this research, our partners driven tens of thousands of kilometers to try to document them. It's just mind-boggling and unbelievable volume. And eastern and central region, we can see they're so densely located, and all these numbers of solar PV farms. And case study like Shandong, which is the largest industrial, have the largest industrial capacity and also the largest energy consumer. And but it can rank number 6 in the world if it is taken as a country. But much of that is rooftop solar panel. Jiangsu, similar, but they have more factories, more kind of small and medium-sized factories, all put this on rooftop. Zhejiang, quite similar. Just from the map, you can see, each one of them, from the satellite mapping, all this solar being deployed. Of course, when this May, according to a calculation, every per second, 100 solar panel cells have been installed in China per second in that month. Of course, that's before a key document created and by Director ZHAO, I believe. And so people rush to build that ahead of that. But the challenges are very, very obvious. The intermittency and instability and potential ecological and social impact, and also the waste disposal challenges. Last but not least, the upsource, upstream, we have the minerals, mining, all this impact, not just in China, but globally. So we need to manage that. Of course, the curtailment of the solar power, wind power, all getting more severe because of as Director ZHAO put it, how to integrate such a high penetration of renewable energy. That's our challenge. So one solution is to accelerate our electrification, and China electrifying its economy and society 9 times faster than the global average. And we have done our own part, to try to help people visualize that. But now today with AI capacity, you take a picture of automobile in the street. It will give you, it will unlock the carbon footprint of it. And as we can see, the electric vehicle got such a kind of much lower carbon footprint. Of course, many of our users have uploaded tens of thousands of these photos. And the other solutions, as Director ZHAO mentioned, all this solar PV in combination with the storage capacity, growing in a massive way, and also hydrogen will be highlighted, particularly in the western part. And we can see all this solar PV farms are being required to be constructed along with desertification control. So new plan has been rolled out for that, and also try to utilize the coal mining subsidence. Through satellite mapping, it's also quite impressive to see all this the so-called wasteland being utilized for that. And in the rocky regions in southwestern part of China, also a lot of similar cases. Of course, how to do that along with SDG, the so-called agrivoltaics and fishery solar integration has been going on in many parts of China. And how to transform the public infrastructure to make it more self-reliant. And globally, we have reached we're all at the COP28. Commitment have been made to triple the renewable energy capacity. And we can see that China leads this renewable energy growth, and China's share of global solar PV continue to grow. And now it's really a big share. China equals, the installation capacity equals the next 31. And also power generation is another, all the top 10 put together. So, but there's still a significant gap. We can't just have one country, moving forward. So we need the world to work together on that. So unfortunately, excluding China, global renewable growth was only 8.6%, so lagging far behind. The gap in clean energy investment is quite obvious. China, EU, US, is making headway, but many others are lagging behind. The global solar deployment outside China fall behind the climate targets. So can we work together to ensure all countries can access, afford, and benefit from the clean energy? I think that should be the target. And we can see that China managed to cut solar PV cost by nearly 90%. Yeah, we can see levelized 90%. And China started making this investment globally and helping with all the solar projects, and already achieved a carbon reduction totaling 280 million tons in different parts of the world. But vast potential is there, in many other parts of the world. So the UN Secretary Guterres, Secretary General, just made a remark on climate action, and he called it a moment of opportunity. He called on all the countries to supercharge the clean energy in a clean energy age. And from this map, we can see, the per capita solar capacity. China, we're very happy to see the ambassador of Germany, because Germany is #1, and Netherlands is also very high. New Zealand, we have the ambassador from New Zealand, is also reaching, only a few countries reach that 1 kilowatts for per capita. So we do have a joint project with Tsinghua professor He Jian, and Madam Wu, and called 1 kilowatts per capita solar installations. And we're trying to promote that, in different parts of the country. We can see in Zhejiang, they have very highly pro-solar PV policy, and the case study of Lin'an. They truly want to accelerate the per capita, 1 kilo per capita project. And in Lankao, Henan province, we can see the village, solar PV. That's solar PV county, this, district. This is solar PV county. And this is the solar PV school, in Sichuan. It's a ESG project from the company. This is a solar PV village in Suzhou, Jiangsu province. Just look at the new way of power access. And this is a solar PV family in Huizhou, in in Yunnan province. And this is the next step, a solar PV family in the cities. In Beijing, we still haven't seen much of that. It's still yet to come. But we know in Germany, in Netherlands, things are happening like that. But here in China, we have even better opportunities to do that. So that's, I think it's very positive. And of course, the financing part, we're finally seeing some cross-funding, the new kind of model for financing coming up. The real world asset, this new models can help break that big centralized or rooftop solar panel into, hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands of tokens, and have the investors own them. So that's what's going on with China's energy transition, particularly on the solar side. I really appreciate your attention. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ma, for your great speech. Actually, the first time for me to know so many significant and magnificent site on the solar PV in China. And in the near future, CCG as a think tank, we should be the solar PV think tank. We can build those roofs on CCG house. That's fantastic. Thank you all the three speakers from different angles, from the government as a policymaker, from academic from Tsinghua University, and Mr. Ma from NGO and the think tank. I think it's very comprehensive angles to review what's happening in China and what is China's policy on the green transition. So later I would like to invite Dr. Henry Wang to moderate the last but very important part on Q&A. CCG VIP luncheon is so popular because this part always have a very fluent and very interesting flow, conversation flow. So I would like to invite Dr. Wang to moderate this part.
Okay, thank you, Dr. May. We have about a half hour, at least for Q&A. So this is really interesting. I think this time we're having a better place. We had a big screen, so the effect is better than probably about in the past. But still, we have 16 times VIP launching and over 100 ambassadors, embassies, multinational media. Times has attended our event. So I think today it is really great. I think that I can testify what three experts' opinion, because I just heard the news the day before yesterday. There's one building in China, on the server front. It was all using the solar to build the building now, and then they can save the energy. And on the roof of the building, they use a lot of battery from used cars to store that when the weather is running. So I think this probably does represent a new mode of development. So personally, I think in the 19th century, we had the steam power. We led the revolution of the UK led that for the 20th century and 19th century, and then 20th century we had Edison invented electricity. Computers, digital, so the 20th century was really American also contributed a lot. So I think 21st century probably is green power, together with China and all the other countries. I think one of the things I was also Professor Zhang was talking about this power grid that China was doing, high voltage transmission. I'm thinking, now Europe needs energy, because of Russian war in Ukraine. And why can't we have the solar farm in building Africa using Chinese technology and investment, and also other European investment, and had this voltage transmission combined with other sources to supply the European countries, so that that there's no risk if the solar farm is in Africa, which also benefiting Africa as well. So that'd be one thing. The other thing is China has signed a lot of third country collaboration, like China signed with Japan, signed with France, recently signed with Singapore to work in the third countries. So I think we can all work on that, on the green transition for all the countries, particularly developing countries. So I stop here. I think this is fascinating that China has been really catching up on this. And I had just invited a Columbia professor, Adam Tozy, was in my office about a month ago, and he was talking about this solar revolution going on, and he was talking about China total solar installation in 2023 already 1.6 times of the total world installation, and also reduced from 24 cents per panel to 11 cents US dollar per panel. So that's really something that we can really work with the world on that, with all the countries. So I'm open for the question. Yep, Ambassador Patrick, please.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Wang, and thank you for CCG for organizing this meeting, and thank you, of course, to the three speakers. Now, for Germany, let me first say that our plan continues to be climate neutral by 2045. And let me also say that you might have followed that the EU and China during the recent summit agreed on a statement on climate. So for sure, these, if I may say, big powers do remain committed to actually fighting climate change and fulfilling the Paris Agreement, keeping on the 1.5 degree path. Now, regarding China, I think that it's really amazing to see the build-up of renewable energy in this country. Nonetheless, I would like to combine it with a question, because I know that from my German companies, some of whom are committed to becoming climate neutral too. And I know that some of them then tell me, but we can't get green energy from the grid. So it's obvious there is a mismatch between the production capacity of renewables and the use of renewable energy in the economy and in the system as a whole. So therefore, that's an important element, of course. So that brings me to the upcoming next 5-year plan. So what do you expect in terms of targets and goals and policies to address this? And then, of course, in the mix is still a lot of coal. And it's not only still there, but you still keep adding new capacity, which is the other concern that we have, because, of course, there has been also a commitment to try to phase out the use of fossil fuels. But I can see that because of energy security, China is still banking on coal. And of course that sets, much of what China does has a symbolic value. So many others will look at this example, and so therefore I would wish to see a China that also says coal is no longer needed in order to become secure in our energy supply. And my last point is about, again, we have COP30 coming up, Belém, and I think globally speaking, if I talk to my fellow ambassadors from the small Pacific Islands or from developing small countries, there's not a lot of need in terms of financing for adaptation and mitigation measures, and so therefore I think China, as a very successful big country, has some financial capacity. So therefore, I would be looking forward to also seeing a commitment to contributing to the climate fund and the loss and adaptation funding internationally to feed international cooperation, as was highlighted. Thank you.
Thank you. So, expert, and who is going to?
So, thank you for your questions and maybe also proposals. In fact, first about the coal-fired power plant. As I just mentioned, the electricity demand is increasing. The growth of load is faster than the amount of generation. That means we have to make sure at the peak load, we can make sure the power system is safe. We can meet the demand. So in China, we don't have so much gas, natural gas. So the coal power plant will be reliable. But in the future, we believe the coal power plant will generating less hours, from 5,000 hours to 4,000 hours to 3,000 hours a year. So we will generate more capacity but less generation. In fact, I think that's the next 10 years important system or the base of the reliable system. But in the long term, we will develop new batteries. New battery, the capacity of battery will increase. I think the role of coal-fired power plant will decrease. And for the first question about the green power, yeah, of course we have a lot of green power. The share of green power in all the provinces are increasing, but so far the power market is not very good, and we don't have very good rules to make sure the power generators and the buyers can make a very clear contract. Even we have encouraging contract. And according to international rules, that some kind of contract in China is not regarded as a green power procurement. So that's a problem. So that's why China government just released rules that are encouraging renewable power direct connected to the consumers to make sure the consumers, the batteries can get certified green power procurement. And China government also set up green certificate systems for all the renewable generations, not only wind and solar, but also hydro. I think this will help not only domestic, but also international consumers, companies to monitor how much renewable share was used in their electricity consumption. And for the international cooperation on the island countries providing clean power, yes, sure. Last week, we have a workshop in Tsinghua University. Indonesia also proposed the question, what's the biggest challenge of providing power to the island? In fact, in China, 20 years ago, we built a lot of independent power system, small power system with solar, wind, and some batteries, maybe also with some diesel combustion engines. The biggest challenge 20 years ago is the cost is very high. But now the cost is not very high. It's commercially affordable. But the issue is that safety, reliability, especially because of the extreme climate conditions, climate weathers. In the future, I think will be the biggest challenge for the small power system in the island. We need more batteries. We need a smart grid. We need the weather prediction technologies. I think that's what we can collaborate. I think it's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Wan, and all the wonderful presentation by the speakers. Climate change and the environment issue is one of the important agenda items of Japan-China collaboration. And I was very impressed with Dr. Ma's presentation on the extensive use of solar panel in China and beyond. And our experience in Japan is that we started to use solar panel in a substantive way 20 plus years ago. But life expectancy of solar panel, if I'm not mistaken, is 10 to 12 years. And how we are going to create a kind of life cycle of solar panels in Japan, in China, because you started to introduce solar panel in a massive way for the last several years. And maybe in 10 years' time, all these solar panels will become obsolete and not effective enough. How will you create an environment enabling recycle or extending life expectancy of these solar panels? I think that's a common challenge for all the countries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador, for the wonderful question. And I just came back from a trip to Japan, and I'm on the Shinkansen, bullet train. I'm very happy to see so many, also a lot of solar panels along that. Probably in the scale not as massive as in China. I mean, recently it's just in China is really expanding really fast. Of course, we're going to face that challenge, as you mentioned, waste disposal. You know, when wind turbines and solar panels, when they reach that the end of it and of its lifespan, how to dispose them. And I think the Ministry of Environment is now creating some rules on that because in China, everything we need policy. We need to start from policy, and then we are trying to see whether also in China, that whole so-called circular economy have been have attracted great attention, and a new kind of SOE have been set up on that, and with that, there are from the business angle, I think there are all this research into how to recycle, how to make sure that because there are some minerals there are some useful materials. Having said all of this, we are seeing some progress. We haven't seen much damage, much negative impact yet. But that wave of disposal has yet to come. It's going to come. So far, it's okay. But we need to make real preparation for that. So far, it's still not really fully there. It's still a big challenge. Turbine is a big challenge. Sometimes, on the very high, top of the mountains, and it's very, very costly to try to recycle. And then this solar panel, it's not as valuable, market valuable like batteries. So how to create that business model? I think all these are challenges. So I think someone got to be held accountable for that. So that's why we're working with our partner Green Jiangnan and Chinese Academy of Environmental Science to assess the performance of more than 40 solar companies, solar power companies, many of them listed companies. We need to hold them accountable because they are not just manufacturing them, they're building all these solar farms. They can't just only make money out of that. They need to be held accountable. And they actually have their own big footprint. The 24 of them who disclosed their carbon footprint, only those 24, Scope 1 and 2 put together is over 100 million tons of carbon emission by itself. And so we need to track that down and create accountability on that. So I think by the end of the day, there must be all the stakeholders have the recognition of that, and then try to create from policy to business model and to all this to the technical solutions. Thank you.
Okay, Ambassador from New Zealand. Yes.
Well, thank you, Dr. Wang, for another excellent lunch, and thank you to the presenters for very interesting presentations. I think we all in this room know that we collectively can't solve the global climate emergency without action by China, which accounts for 1/3 of global emissions. So the fact that China is making significant strides, I think, is hugely valuable and important for all of us. So thank you for the briefing. I want to come back to a point that my colleague from Germany raised. China's adding a lot of renewable power, but it's also adding more coal power than the rest of the world combined. You made the point that you need that for base load. You need it to balance sort of variability, I guess, in renewables. I come from a country where 90% of electricity is from renewables, but 10% is from fossil fuels. Removing that last 10% is very, very difficult. I'd be interested if you could just talk a little bit more into what you see as the, I guess, optimum percentage of renewables. You spoke about batteries. You know, how far away is that technology? How can China get to that, you know, that 1/3 or half that's still from fossil fuels, and what does that sort of future and journey look like? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Yeah. In fact, in the past, coal-fired power plants is for base load, but now it's not. It's flexible generation. We learned this from Germany, from Denmark in the past 10 years. So now all the coal-fired power plants are generating flexibly. In the noon, when the sun shines, the coal-fired plants will decrease output. In the long run, we, according to our study, plants will generating less than maybe 100 hours a year. Even some will phase out. It also depends on 2 issues. First, we need all the demand response from the industry, from buildings, from electric vehicles. I think in the future, 400 million electric vehicles will provide huge demand response. In China, I think it's not far away, maybe 10 years, 15 years later. Another is about the battery storage. We found the cost of the battery, new battery, and new technologies, not only the chemical batteries, but also the compressed air. They can play important role in the coming decade. In some regions in China, the wind power, solar plus batteries, the cost, the system average cost is closer. It's very close to the average cost internationally. I think in the next 10 years, we will see a lot of regions, more and more regions will base wind, solar, hydro, new chemical batteries, and other batteries. You mentioned, I didn't remember the name of the example where they can operate 10% coal power plant. I think in some regions it's possible now in China, but for the whole country, so far it's difficult. We hope that we can accelerate the pace of China energy transition.
Okay, thank you. Maybe I could add a bit is that China also is now devoting to build hugely on hydro. They're going to build another 5 Three Gorges on upper streams and going to invest over 1 trillion RMB in the next decade. So I don't know. That's right. That's right. So that's I have to be careful on gradually develop that. So, but that's another way of renewable that China is doing. I don't know if any Betty, maybe from UN, you have a question.
Yes. No. Thank you very much, Henry Wang, for the invitation and the excellent lunch. Always very informative to join the CCG luncheons, and thank you to our 3 presenters. I'm Beate Trenkmann. I'm heading the UN Development Program here in China. And maybe just 2-3 points. One that we've been gravitating around, which is basically base loads, coal, etc. And I think I'd like to contribute one data point that maybe shows the challenge, because we were seeing from the charts that China actually in renewable energy production capacity has reached its own 2030 target of 50%. But if you look at the output, it's only 30%. So it basically means that renewable energy capacity is currently underused. And there are all these technological issues that we were talking about, but there is also a governance issue, and that is basically regulatory in nature, and the sort of power sharing agreements and energy market standardization across provinces. So I think that's an important point that China can look at. And I agree with the German ambassador very much on the point on the NDCs. China is the national determined contributions as we are heading into COP30 and are all countries presenting the third generation of NDCs. China is very much leading the way on the green transformation, and being ambitious, I think, in putting forward meaningful targets will instill new momentum. So I think from the side of the UN, our hope is very much that China will opt up the ante, building on the big success that it's had in the green energy transformation. And I think part of that is also incorporating biodiversity protection into those targets, because biodiversity through carbon sinks, through the role that biodiversity has on adaptation, is the flip side of the climate story coin. And I also agree with the German ambassador on finance. The biggest challenge for the COP30 going forward is the climate finance and how we're solving that. And I think there is opportunities for the bigger economies and that are showing the way, like China, in the renewable energy transformation to support climate finance, and in particular also the loss and damage fund. I had one last point for Professor ZHANG, and that's a fascinating report, which is actually a UNDP regional report on AI and human development, which will come out later this year. It's being curated by our regional center in Bangkok, and there is a chapter on AI and energy, and you had interesting points there. I was contemplating, you're quite right, AI can solve many of the distribution issues, the efficiency issues, etc. But there is also a risk, I think, a security risk from the perspective of critical infrastructure, and does it make that more vulnerable? And I was just wondering whether there's any reflections on that you may have. But thank you all again for a really fascinating discussion. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for this. Okay. So no, I think the simple answer is no. We are just starting to look at that, but hopefully we can work with your organization and many other partners to dive deeper into consequence and also follow-up questions. If I also may to respond very quickly to some of the points here, one about NDC. I know in less than 100 days we'll have COP30 in Brazil. The data that I received is that only 28 countries, only 28 have submitted 2035 NDC. So I think this is a time of uncertainty. We are not, not sure about the full picture, how things will come out by November, and especially when we have the second withdrawal from the U.S. From the Paris Agreement, and I think this will be a very hard COP. We need to send out the signal that the Paris Agreement is still resilient and effective, and also multilateralism is the only way out. So we are calculating, though, on this damage that unilateral barriers like the trade and also tariffs will reduce in the increase of carbon emissions. Tariffs on EVs, on renewable products. So I think this is one, and also I think we hope that this COP will be an action-oriented, solving many of the problems that's uncertain, because we have finished or completed all these negotiations about the rulebook of Paris Agreement. It's something's very urgent. It doesn't take 30 years to negotiate, right? So I think many of us are already very tired of opening new tracks for negotiation. So I think this COP hopefully will be action-oriented. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we have other table representative from Shanghai Corporation. Yes.
Sorry, I have a very simple question because I think we are running out of time. Since I represent a regional organization, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and you know, it's China is the current chairperson of the organization. My question is simple: that we are discussing a lot of strategies in the field of energy among the member states, and we have a chapter under the strategy of energy cooperation on renewables. Can you suggest us any transboundary model by virtue of which the member states can avoid polluting each other if one is not benefited from this? Suppose China has this, Kazakhstan has this, but the other countries don't have, so how can you remain immune from the total, benefit of having a clean energy, because the other countries will pollute you through the air and other means. So do you have any model in your mind to sell on the trans-border cooperation on clean energy, any type of clean energy? And secondly, we have a plan to build a grid, additional grid in the Euro-Asian region, which comes, China is also part of Euro-Asia. Is it possible to have such grid where energy surplus countries can sell energy deficit countries some sort of energy on that grid? Thank you.
Very good question. Yeah. Mr. Ma, because Shanghai Corporation needs a lot of green energy, and
yeah, I probably will start from the transporter part. China used to, China benefited so much from the globalization, the past 40 years. But in the meantime, also, China also suffered very, very badly through that, with all this impact, through this globalized economy, and because China has been serving as the factory of the world, and now we're seeing a new kind of a round of distribution of labor happening, relocation of supply chain to other regions, and we definitely don't want another round of pollution transfer through that. So I think there are all these lessons learned, all these possibilities there. And there are new possibilities, not just to tap into all this vast monitoring and new technology on, now in China, tens of thousands of factories need to report their emission every hour to the public, or every 2 hours. On our app, people can see that. We can visualize that, and from the time when everyone cut corner to try to be more competitive, but now all of them have to comply. Because those whoever's not, will be kicked out of the game through the supply chain, green supply chain or green finance. And we're talking about China's sulfur dioxide emission coming down from 20 million tons to 2.4 in 10 years of time. I mean, that's the reason behind all this blue skies coming back. But there are so many other countries suffering, some cities suffering from air pollution, I know. So there are all these possibilities. But this new round of doing this, you know, I'm one of the members of the UNFCCC, UNDESA, you know, sponsored by Japan, government of Japan. You know, now I think it's very, very important to work on synergy, you know, because doing all of this in silos, pollution control, you know, energy and climate mitigation and expansion of grain, high quality growth, we can't do it all in silos. We can't afford that. You know, our economy is not in very good shape. So beautiful China means to integrate all of this together. And so with that, the efficiency will be much, much higher. And so China's kind of, look at the EV, you know, as an example, you know, not just on the low carbon, but also on the local pollution side, on the high quality growth side. So there are all these possibilities. I hope that you know, we can overcome the barriers. You know, having meetings here, having meetings in Europe, in America, in Japan. You know, this competitiveness is in everyone's mind. Geopolitical tension is very, very high. So that prevents us from working more closely together. I think, you know, if 40 years ago China could open the door and welcome all the investors and multinationals to come to share the market, to share, of course, eventually technology benefit and all of this. You know, there are possibilities on the renewable side. You know, some of the Chinese companies are leading, and why can't we reach a deal to share, you know, in other countries? And in, of course, the Shanghai Cooperation Network, it's even more so, you know, because we have less that kind of barriers. So if there's a chance to work together, there are all these great, you know, innovative solutions emerging. I hope we seize the moment. Thank you.
Okay, I don't know the other thing, but IMF, okay. So probably we almost could come to the end of the time, but we leave some time for after lunch exchanges. So again, today is really a very fascinating, but also very informative and also very stimulating discussions. I think we had 3 experts here. We had so many ambassadors, so many embassy representatives, international organizations, multinationals, and of course media representatives. I think this is really a great event. We're going to really summarize the report and all the points everybody raised, and we're going to also submit it to the different departments concerned, and also we're going to make this public available as well for our media friends. So again, on behalf of CCG, the organizer, and also we want to thank China World Summit Win this time, also collaborating with us for this CCG VIP luncheon. But we really appreciate all of you coming. And we hope to invite you again next time. So let's make a photo here, and then we can afterwards chat, exchange. Thank you all.